This is the last video for this course. This is which implies that this is the last time we'll be meeting ourselves for this course research methodology. And in this module, the last module, what are we going to be treating? The topic that we are going to be looking at is referencing, academic tools, and quality assurance. So I believe in our previous modules, we've been able to justify some necessary and notable topics that need to be addressed in this course very well enough. So this is just the last part. So we just, when we are talking in research too, referencing is one of the is like the last part of our writing. Comes at the last part of our writing. So this is just a way to introduce ourselves to how to write referencing and the academic tools to use, and also quality assurance. It's just this topic is just there to uphold integrity and precision in scholarly work. You can't just write a work and claim it to be just all of a sudden without a proper referencing the work. So it's just upholding integrity and precision in scholarly work. So now we have the contents of the modules. So the contents of the module, and the first one is the reference times. We'll be looking at the reference times including APA, Harvard, MLA, Chicago, IE, and we'll also look at in-text citation and reference list formatting. After that, we'll move on to creating automated table of contents in Microsoft Word. We'll teach us how to create table of contents, the automated table of contents in Microsoft Word. Then step-by-step use of Grammarly for academic writing quality control. After that, we'll move on to step-by-step use of Zero-GPT for AI content detection and acceptable AI threshold. And also we'll move on to step-by-step use of Turnitin and other plagiarism detection tools. After that, we'll move to acceptable plagiarism similarity levels in academic works. And finally, we will be treating final formatting, compilation, and submission of research documents before we move on to the conclusion part of this module. So these are the major topics or subtopics that we'll be looking at in this module. We have the introduction to part of the module. We have which is the pillars of credibility. So when I'm talking about academic integrity and precision are non-negotiable. So this module is just is there to mainly discuss about academic integrity and a way to avoid plagiarism and all. So they distinguish Igor scholarship from careless work. That's the work of academic integrity. So this module covers the referencing, digital tools, formatting and submission and all. So the referencing has to do with acknowledging intellectual debt, while the digital use has to do with quality, is there for quality control, grammar and plagiarism or AI detection. And also the formatting and submission is there to ensure professional presentation. So now let's move on to major reference styles that we know. So we have different fields which use different citation languages. So you always check your target guidelines. So different disciplines or different fields, they use different citation languages and all. So reference styles. So it depends on where you are working on or the research work that you are carrying out and your field of study that will determine. So let's put it, we have a tabular form for that where we have the style and the primary disciplines and the key features. Let's take APA style for instance. Now, APA is mainly used by the psychology, social science, and education, and including the arts and humanities. They make use of the APA style. And the key features has to do with the author to date and emphasis recency. We also have the MLA styles. MLA style is used in literature and humanities. And it's also, the key features also include author page. Focuses on textual location. We have the Chicago, used by history, humanities, and publishing. And the key features are notes and bibliography or author dates. We have IE, we have Vancouver. The IE is used by the primary disciplines are the engineering and computer science, while the Vancouver has for the medicine and sciences. So let's move on to in-text citation principles. In-text citation principle. These has two core functions. One is that in-text citation principles give credit to the original author, and it also points the reader to the full source in the reference list. You understand? This is a citation that happens within the text. I believe we should know what that is. So the basic formats, we have parathetical, that is recent studies confirm the trend, where we have example like Smith 2023, and that is recent studies confirm the trend. We also have the narrative, Smith 2023 confirms the trend. So if we look at this format, we also have direct quotes, which always include a page number or location, e.g. Jones 2022 page 45 or Miller 2021 paragraph 7 and the likes. So these are different formats that we can use for in-text citation. It can be parenthetical, where we have a situation like recent studies confirm the trend, in inverted comma, including the year and the name of the author. And in another case, we have narrative, the narrative format, where we have Smith 2023, which implies that the scholar comes first, confirms the trend before this thing. So I believe you should understand that with these examples. So let's move on to reference list essentials. So this is about the golden rule, which states that every in-text citation must have a reference list entry, and also it is used, and also vice versa. So formatting is style specific. It is arranged in an alphabetical order, be it APA, Harvard, MLA, Chicago, author to date. It is always arranged in author first, come first, then the date, in alphabetical order. So our citation order is have IE, Vancouver. They are numbered, and the hanging index, we have the standard for read, is there for standard for readability. It include DOIS or stable URL for digital sources. Example is APA journal. We have author, the name of the author, and an alphabet from his surname, full stop, then the year, the title of the book, then the journal in italics, and the volume, issue, and pages. Then we have the link to URL. So let's move to digital tool in reference. That is the digital tool, which are the reference managers. So why use the name automate citations, ensure consistency? It's also say now we have it in tabular form also. We have the tool, we have the key features, and what is best used for. We have Zotero, we have Mendeley, we have EndNote, we have reference work. So this Zotero is key, is free, is open source, excellent browser integration, and it is best used for students and interdisciplinary researchers. Mendeley, on the other hand, is also free, strong PDF management and social features. It's also best used for researchers managing large PDF libraries. EndNote is commercial, it is powerful, extensive style library, and it is used for it is best for institutions, large research teams. RefWorks is there also, and one of the key features is that it is web-based, often provided by the university, and it is best for users preferring cloud-based workflow. So let's move on to digital tool. That's number 2, the grammar and writing assistance. E.g., we have Grammarly, which is one of the digital tools. The purpose of this is to proofread and stylistic refinement. You understand, just to make sure that your work is properly refined. And so we have a setup for academia. You have one, you use Premium for style or clarity checks. You set goals to audience, experts, domain, academic, formality, and the workflow review is there to review critical errors. You will see red first. You have to review critical errors first. Clarity is yellow, while enhancement is blue. So never accept blindly. Evaluate such suggestion. The AI doesn't understand your argument. You understand? So the limitation that we have for this grammar and writing assistance is that it checks how you write, not what you argue. So you combine with human review. It's just what he's mainly dealing with what you write, not what your point of view or what you argue on. So now we have digital tool theory, we have plagiarism detection, and there's another digital tool that we can use. So what this does is they turn it on. What does it do? It compares text against a huge database, which could be paper, web, or journals. And what it gives you is a similarity report with highlighted matches. So the critical distinction includes similarity score percent equals to data volume of match text in paragraph. So plagiarism equals to judgment, that is the judgment, and it is based on how those matches are used. The key question that we should ask is that, is the match text properly cited when we are trying to avoid plagiarism? So now let's move on to interpreting plagiarism reports. Uh, Context is everything. So acceptable similar depends on early on the document. Depends entirely on the document. Where we have a table, another table, we have the documents type, typical, okay, range, and why. So undergraduate essay, it should be around 10 to 20%. So because, and the reason is that learning conventions using cited sources. So a graduate thesis, it should be around 10 to 15%. And the reason is because it's a higher originality is expected. So literature review should be between the range of 20 to 30% plus, because mainly this is about summarizing others' work with citation. I believe you should understand that. Method section, this can be high, because and one of the reasons is that standard protocols are described similarly. So the location and nature of matches matter more than the overall. So you understand. So now let's move to understanding self-plagiarism. That is text recycling. What it is that it is the reusing your own previously submitted or published work without acknowledgement. When it is a problem, when is it a problem is that when you are submitting the same paper for two different courses, then it is a big problem. And you're publishing the same findings in a new journal without disclosure. And also another problem is when you copying last section from your thesis into a paper without citation or permission. Then it's a big problem. When it is often okay, it is when there is it is used with disclosure. One is adapting a thesis paper into a journal article, then repeating standard methodology descriptions. Now we have digital tool for AI content detection. The example of that is Zero GPT. So what does this do is that it analyzes text for patterns typical of AI, e.g. ChatGPT, and it analyzes text for patterns typical of AI generation. It tries to check if it's AI generated. So it's there to provide the probability score, e.g. we could have 85% AI generated. And the critical limitation is that it gives false positives and false negatives. Short text, it also use a diagnostic aid, not definitive proof. Always investigate flag sections. So make sure you always do that. Always investigate flag section. Now the final formatting and submission checklist. Before you can actually submit, take note of these things: the page layout, the structure, the citations, the figures or tables, the dynamic links, and you also proofread. Page layout, you have to correct margins, font, spacing, page numbers, and the structure. You make sure that all sections present the title, abstract, TOC, body, references, and appendices. So citations, every in-text citation has a reference, and vice versa. You understand? So and figures or tables, you number sequentially, referenced in text with high resolution and all. So now let's look at post. So let's move on to post submission, and that's the archiving and ethics. You create a master archive folder, final submitted documents, PDF and source file, all drafts and notes. Data files, correspondence, submission, confirmation, and all. You put it in a master archive folder. And why do we do this? We do this for future reference or for future purpose, and for plagiarism defense and building on your work. So if you find an error, like minor typo, often no action is needed. Major error in coursework, you are trying to contact. When there is major error in coursework, you contact instructor professionally. If it is about journal submission, you wait for review and correction in the review. So in conclusion, we can easily conclude that technical precision is a sign of scholarly respect. So mastering referencing tools and formatting will definitely uphold academic integrity, also build credibility and trust, and ensures your research is evaluated on its merits. And the final thought is that these skills are not just about rules, but nevertheless they are your commitment to the ethics, the clarity and rigor that